Welcome to WNL Sports Weekly. I'm Jeremy Franklin. This week we'll speak with football coach Scott Abell and women's cross-country runner Maggie Seybold. But first, a quick look back at the weekend in Washington and Lee athletics. Women's cross-country placed third at the NCAA South-Southeast Regional in Kernstown. Two first-years, Samantha Yates and our guest today, Maggie Seybold, both qualified for the national meet. The men's team came in sixth in a 30-team field. After defeating Methodist 3-0 in the first round of the NCAA tournament at Watfield on Thursday, men's soccer fell 2-1 at 7th-ranked Haverford in Sunday's second round, wrapping up the year at 16-4-2. Wrestling produced four place winners at the Washington and Jefferson Invitational, coming in 7th overall. Men's and women's swimming both went 1-1 in a tri-meet in Pittsburgh, defeating Allegheny while falling to Carnegie Mellon. Riding placed 7th at the Emory and Henry Invitational. Men's basketball opened up the season with an 89-86 home win over Berry, while women's hoops lost 79-63 at Christopher Newport. And the football team closed out the first 10-0 regular season in program history with a 34-21 victory at Shenandoah. With me now is football coach Scott Abell. Scott, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Jeremy.
A number of tremendous historic accomplishments for the Generals football team this year. 10-0 for the first time ever. You got the program's 500th win, first Division III national rankings. What do all those milestones mean to the team?
Well, I think it's a feather in their hat to where they came from. You know, when you look back at 2-8 last year and some of the obstacles that we were fighting through, the injuries, the invasion of youth into our program, for them to kind of stick to the plan, work hard in the off season, knowing that if they stuck to the plan, good things could come, and good things did come to us. And it's really what you want for your athletes. You want them to see that hard work does pay off.
The Generals lead all of college football with 445 rushing yards per game. It's not the first time that the option offense has had success, but what's made the Generals so effective this year in particular? Well,
I think it's a couple things. I think first, our depth as a whole. We're very deep in our backfield. As everyone's seen, when everyone's healthy, we'll have 7-8 guys carry the football for us. We have two quarterbacks that run our offense very efficiently, and you need that kind of depth because in every football season you're going to have guys that miss games and miss plays, miss drives because of injuries. And with that depth, it's allowed us kind of to keep the offense rolling forward, to keep that momentum, and that's big. And the second thing is just a year more experience for everyone. With Charlie Nelson's second year in the offense, we've been able to really build on that, install a few new concepts for our option game, and that he's able to execute. And it really does all start with our quarterback. And so you start putting all that stuff together, and I think it's really kind of led to the explosion that we've had this year.
The WNL defense gives up over 400 yards per game, but where it counts, you led the conference in scoring defense, 21.9 points. How has the team been able to get the other offense on the field on such a consistent basis?
Well, yeah, we're somewhat built for that, and we talk about that a lot. Kind of the bend don't break. We think we're very athletic on defense, and we fly around, but we're not big up front. That's not a secret. So sometimes you're going to give up first downs, and no one wins games by first downs. They win by points. And so our guys have really bought into that. And I think the yardage are a little misleading. If you really look at when some of those yards are coming, they're coming late in games after we've put teams away, and the other team is still trying to make it respectable. That's happened quite a bit here in these last 3 or 4 weeks. And so I think that's a little misleading. I think the points and what we've given up is really more indicative of what type of defense we are.
The Generals traveled to Thomas More for the first round of the NCAA playoffs on Saturday. What's the scouting report on the Saints? What are the keys to a Generals win?
Well, I think the key is really trying to control the line of scrimmage, and that's, they're big up front. They're a physical team on both sides, and, that's our challenge this week. I don't think they've seen anything like us offensively as far as our option game. So, we need to get that going early, control the tempo of the game offensively. And defensively, it's the same recipe. We're probably going to give up some first downs, and they're occasionally going to put 3 or 4 first downs together. But, as they get into the red zone, we really got to dig our heels in and limit points, force field goal tries instead of touchdowns.
Scott, thanks for joining us. Best of luck at Thomas More on Saturday.
Thanks for having me, Jeremy.
I'm joined now by Maggie Seybold, first-year cross-country athlete from Cockeysville, Maryland. Maggie, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You came in 6th at the South-Southeast Regional over the weekend. Your teammate Samantha Yates was right behind you in 7th. The team finished 3rd overall. How well did the Generals perform at Shenandoah?
We performed incredibly well. We were ranked, I think, 5th in the region going in, and coming off of winning ODACs, we were very confident and knew that our team had a lot of potential, and we were just going to do the best that we could and see where we stacked up compared to the other teams in the region. But we were expecting to be more in the 4th to 7th range, and we ended up being 3rd, which was huge for our team and shows how much potential we have. And qualifying for nationals it varies so much year to year because they only take the top 7 in our region, and then the next few single qualifiers, not including the people on the teams that go. So it's really hard to predict who will make it and who won't. So I think Sam and I both it was on the edge whether or not we would qualify, but we did, which was awesome, and the team did very well overall. So I think our performance at Shenandoah was fantastic.
You mentioned the ODAC championship, but what does it mean to you and your classmates to win a conference title in your first year with the program?
It really means a lot because it just shows how much potential we have in the coming years. Our team has grown so much just over this year, and it's incredible to think about how far we could go in the coming years and how successful we could be having already won our first ODAC with so many younger teammates. So it's nice to have a young team and know that our future is very bright.
All of the point scorers at both of the postseason meets have been first years and sophomores. How has your captain's leadership aided the success of you and all the other young runners?
Well, I think coming to college in the first place, especially for freshmen, it's a huge transition and it can be very intimidating. And I never felt intimidated or nervous. I felt immediately accepted on our team, and they did such a great job of integrating all of the younger members on the team so that everyone's opinion matters, everyone is trying their best. And I think with a sport like cross country, where it's such a hard sport and it's a lot of mental strength as well as physical strength, you have to really want to perform for your team as well as for yourself. And I think the fact that they were able to create such a great team atmosphere and such like a family feel on the team really aided to our success over the season.
You and Samantha will be heading out to Wisconsin this weekend. What are your expectations for the National Division III meet?
Well, the national meet is going to have a lot of great runners. We're both excited to have an opportunity to run on a really fast course and be with all these incredible runners and to be able to push ourselves and be pushed by the people who are running next to us. So I think it's a great opportunity for that. We're just going to have fun, see if we can speed up, run some PRs. It's just a great experience, and we're going into it with open minds just to see what happens.
Maggie, thanks for joining us. Good luck at the NCAA championship.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's time now for a look at the upcoming weekend. Men's basketball will compete in the Gettysburg tip-off tournament, opening up against Rutgers-Newark on Friday. Men's and women's swimming also travel to Pennsylvania for the Franklin and Marshall Invitational. Maggie Seybold and Samantha Yates will represent the women's cross-country team at the NCAA Division III National Championship hosted by Wisconsin Oshkosh, while the football team opens up the NCAA tournament on the road against 9th-ranked Thomas More. Elsewhere on Saturday, wrestling will take part in the Southern Virginia duels, while women's basketball plays Albright in Franklin and Marshall's tourney, and men's hoops will be back in action against either Gettysburg or Pitt Bradford. On Sunday, the women's second game at F&M will come against either Elizabethtown or the host Diplomats. And don't forget about the NCAA Division III Field Hockey Championship in Lexington this weekend. In Saturday's semifinals, Bowdoin will face Ursinus, followed by defending national champ TCNJ against Middlebury. The championship game is set for 1 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. For WNL Sports Weekly, I'm Jeremy Franklin. Thanks for watching.